Psych! There's no money here. The investor backed out and you will not be getting anything this time around. Now I want to find out, or I'm just thinking, how are these athletes feeling at the moment, knowing that you are potentially owed US $500,000 and up if you're a Kenny Benerick?
Had a very difficult situation this year financially. We had an investor that wasn't able to honor their complete commitment to the league. So we started off with the capital that we needed to get through the season as we planned it with the 4 slams.
Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to review the replay, and let's talk about track and field. Track and field, I believe the sport is just one of those enthusiastic sports. It's very realistic. Everybody can put one leg in front of the other and run. It sparks emotion with everybody who is a fan of the sport, and I believe the fan, they inject their passion into the athlete that they're supporting. But somehow track and field, it just does not get the respect that it deserves, and I don't know if it deserves anything really, but it just don't get enough. Like when you look at, for example, soccer have one of the largest fan base. I don't know if it's because of the frequency of the events in soccer, or if it's because of the structure behind and the amount of sponsors and the amount of money being poured into it. I don't know if the passion is higher, but track and field does not get the same level of respect. But whenever it's time for track and field and the world is watching, it's one of the most entertaining event. And it's just a flat, it is not a long event like a soccer where athletes get to train, they get to rest, they get to come back, they get to fight back. It's like one chance and you fall apart. And even with in track and field, like the sprint, the 100 meters and such, there's a false start rule, and it kind of damper the sport. But I'm just saying this to say that track and field, being the kind of event that it is, where everybody can relate, because it's running at a high pace, it's running like with godlike speed, and it's either you like who is doing it, or you wish you could do it, or you support who is just running at that pace. Track and field. But looking at track and field and how it is right now, it's kind of exploited to some extent. Athletes will have to train years, put so much energy, so much effort into the sport for decades, only to find out that this is a glorified hobby. It's a glorified hobby. The few athletes that make it to the pinnacle of the sport, it is glorified to some extent, and those who wish they could have gotten to that level, it is kind of a little bit bitter. Or even if they got to a level where they are kind of glorified, they wish they could have gotten to the level where that one guy or that one girl got glorified. We've seen where Usain Bolt is on top of the world where track and field is concerned, and a lot of people could just reference a Usain Bolt, and in an occasion they would refer to Justin Gatlin, the Tyson Gay, or the Safa Powell, the Yohan Blake, and to some extent every athlete who is not Usain Bolt should and could be disgruntled, because they have the same level of talent, except that this guy just run at more godlike speed than they do, and the fans, they cheer for him, and the challengers, they want to be him, they like what he's doing, but it's like, you're taking all the money, you're taking the food from my plate. And then with the introduction of the track and field league, like Grand Slam, an athlete going out there with all the enthusiasm in the world, the potential to finally gain some money that would satisfy their crave and feed their family, only to find out that psych, there's no money here. The investor backed out and you will not be getting anything this time around. Now I want to find out, or I'm just thinking, how are these athletes feeling at the moment, knowing that you are potentially owed US $500,000 and up if you're a Kenny Benerick. If you are a Melissa Jefferson, $500,000 are up. If you are a Gabby Thomas, you have some money out there. If you are a slam champion, you have some money out there, only to find out that psych, you know, the money is not really here. It is sad, and before you know it, being the sport that it is, one that is just good enough for a 10-second, a 20-second, maybe 15 minutes. As soon as the race is done and the commentary is over, we all forget that the sport even exists. So these athletes who put their life, their effort, their blood, their sweat, their tears into this event, into this sport, into this tournament, the Grand Slam. Where are they now mentally? Going into a championship here, I'm sure that some athlete made the conscious decision not to get too involved into this, only because they're preserving their body for the big event, the World Championship. But what's going on in the minds of those athletes who put their blood, their sweat, their tears, their expectation, their hopes and their dreams into Grand Slam, only to find out that psych, nothing here for you guys, nothing here. I really feel for those athletes, and we the fans, oftentimes we criticize, and we criticize really, really deep and strong and forceful and so sure, only to find out that we don't know enough. We don't know anything at all. We don't know what these athletes are going through. We don't know how they eat, how their body react to not eating, how their body react to eating, how they feel when they get a real cramp. We don't know. We have no clue. Only to find out that these guys are putting so much into the sport and they are getting out literally nothing, unless they're that one guy at the top in a sport that is loved by many but is not supported by any, pretty much, literally. We're talking about the athletes like Usain Bolt, who literally have the trophies and the Guinness World Record for everything 100 and 200. Everybody else behind him is just maybe you will get to that point. And anybody who is the leader in that era, they're the ones who have a potential to earn and to gain. And if they fail, they lose it all. And the next guy. So this sport is a one guy at a time sport. Athletes who are looking to switch from one situation to the next, one country to the next, a corporation to the next, a brand to the next, one sponsor to the next. It shows these athletes are not the most loyal athletes, but these athletes are potentially the smartest, the ones who are preserving their own existence over all else, which is right. The sports, we as fans, we are more selfish than we even realize, because these athletes, they are very good, but they're only so good because the sport does not have a league that pays enough for them to be a professional athlete. Imagine being an athlete and you have to travel from one continent to the next, only to earn minuscule amount of money. It's not like even a domestic soccer league where an athlete would travel to a specific location, spend time there, being protected by the environment, build a fan base, and then earn. You know what? Spend some time and just exist in that environment. In track and field, it is not like that. You put that uniform on, you put those whatever they wear on, and it's just 10 seconds. Behind the scene, they're training the entire year just to go out there to represent for 15 minutes. And a majority of the time when the fans see them is when they're on that ready, set, go line. Them on your mark to just go. And when it's over, a small interview, and the bulk of the recognition comes from highlights and replays. And these fans who put all their life, sacrifice their family, sacrifice almost everything, only to find out that there's just this one guy who did a little bit better than you did, a little bit better than I did, is gonna represent for the next 10 years, and you will have to just show up, maybe get a small amount of money, your picture being flashed, and you get an interview, and then it's that, and then that's it. Track and field is a lovely sport for fans, but for the athletes, I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine, to be very honest with you. Those athletes who actually gain something, interesting, beautiful to see it. But for the cricket, for example, if you're a franchise cricketer, they make an insane amount of money, even more than some of the NFL players or the NBA players, because cricket is a sport that you could get involved and you play 12 games, 6 games, 5 games, and those 6 or 12 or 5 games will pay out millions. In track and field, you don't have any such tournament where athletes are just lined up and they are running over like a seasonal tournament of sorts. Or even if there was a seasonal tournament, there could have been seasonal tournament per region where you leave from one season to the next to the next. You could literally have athletes going without even have to exert every amount of strength that they have. And the worst part about being an athlete, even though athletes are great, is the fact that they put so much mileage on their body, so much toll on their body, that they could not sustain being in a tournament. It could not be a part of a tournament that lasts 3 months, like the way how soccer would last for 3 months, or even cricket could last for 12 games or 16 games, and basketball could last for 80 games, and it's not likely. So after saying all this, just to say that I really do wish that Grand Slam was a success. I wish these athletes got paid, and their expectation and the hype and everything else that they were promised was delivered, just so that they could feel appreciated for all of that effort. And I really wonder what mindset are these athletes who have this big expectation of getting a major payday for running 2 races at an event, and now they fell flat knowing that the payday is delayed indefinitely. Drop your comments down below and let me know what you feel about the Grand Slam commissioner coming out to say that these people who should have gotten paid may not get paid because we did not get the investment that we were looking for, even though these athletes ran multiple events in multiple meets over multiple days with enormous or ginormous enthusiasm. What mindset are they looking into right now? And does this prove that the athletes need to be selfish in their approach to the sport and not be as patriotic as you would wish that they would be? I want to hear from you guys. Drop your comment down below and let's review the replay.